Hey, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are now live. You know what this portion of the show is usually like. You've probably viewed it. Let's go into it for those who haven't. Number one, don't go into story mode when you ask your question. Oh, sorry. Let me get to the beginning. You call 407-279-1754. Again, 407-279-1754. I, Attorney Walter Hnot, will ask, or rather will answer your questions for free. We're going to do this for, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 calls. It is already late. I started late. It's 10:02 p.m. We'll probably go into about 10:30 to 10:45. When you call in, use a fake name throughout the call. Have your legal question ready right up front. You get about 5 to 7 minutes per call of free consultation. And if you need more time, you can go ahead and send me a, hey, I'd like to get more time, because you can basically hire me for an hour. I send you this little $250 per hour contract thingy, and then you're good to go. We already have the first caller on the phone. So we're going to go ahead and go right to it. Good sir, remember to use a fake name throughout this process. Would you like me to answer a legal question, or would you like me to go ahead and run hearing questions with you? Go ahead.
Hi, this is the People's Champion. I just have one question for you, a
Sure.
legal question.
Sure.
Specifically, it's regarding my mental health clinician. They were constantly kind of just giving me a cold shoulder about the mental RFC.
Mm-hmm.
And so I eventually got an answer from them, but they told me that they were unwilling to provide a RFC for me simply because my diagnosis was going to be 12 months or longer. And to me, that sounds like discriminatory behavior based on disability. I was just wondering, is that...
That's weird. That's weird, because normally you hear weird, like, I don't want to fill it out if the impairment is not that severe. It's like in the mild category, or if it's not going to last 12 months. But if somebody's going to have an impairment that lasts 12 months or more, usually the doctors are like, hey, I'll fill it out, or hey, I'll fill it out for a fee. But if they say, no, I won't fill it out, your next step is go get another doctor, see them for 3 months, or at least, 3 visits worth. If it was 1 per month, or if it's 1 per 3 months, then obviously, 3, 6, 9 months. But bottom line is, you need to go get a new mental health professional, psychologist or psychiatrist, but some postdoctorate level provider would be appropriate.
To speak on what you said just in the beginning, I've been bounced around clinics. Like, I've gone through 6 clinics, I think,
Sure.
At least 5 or 6. And then, a lot of them are just the kind of cookie cutter, run-of-the-mill kind of clinics of just CBT once an hour, once a month kind of clinics.
Yeah.
And I've tried for all this other care, and there doesn't seem to be any under the Medicaid or Medicare program.
Sure.
I've had to pay out of pocket to get to these, or to get to somebody that will give me a fair and non-biased evaluation.
Sure.
Just the whole nature of this, and then to have them tell me that because my diagnosis is 12 months or longer, that they can't do that. That's just all seems discriminatory to me.
So what's happening is this: the medical field is getting crunched. They're getting crunched from the Medicaid department and the Medicare department. In fact, they're going to face some pretty heavy financial losses of what they used to get paid over the next couple of years in the Medicare field. What's happening is that doctors want to be paid well. If you're going to go through all that education and have all those student loans, they expect to be paid well, just like lawyers, although I'm in a field that doesn't pay well, and I kind of understand that. So the problem is that when it comes to doing a client workup and, doing full assessments and completing RFC forms, physician statements, etc., it all costs money. Time equals money. And everything in the legal field and everything in the medical field is becoming a big box, no customization. You come in here, we go ahead and treat you like a burger at McDonald's. The bun gets put down, we put a patty down, we put some ketchup down, we put some mustard down, we put some, lettuce, tomatoes, some pickles, we slide it over there, put the other bun on top, we wrap it, we throw it in the bag, next. And the reason why is that it's just too costly to do a bunch of custom work for what's being paid. And so, when you go to clinics, it's the same kind of situation where they don't have the time or money to want to invest into that. Nobody's really getting paid that much to care enough. And as a result of that, going from one clinic to the other clinic, the secret of what you're looking for is that you have to find the pay-to-play doctors that are willing to go ahead and receive you and receive the cash. And then basically they'll write up a full diagnostic impression, RFC analysis on you. But they are pay-to-play doctors. There is really not much of a situation where you will see any clinic at this point going forward fill out Social Security RFC documents because the bottom line, and it's the same thing for the VA. The VA doctors don't want to touch that stuff at this point. But ultimately, what's occurring is that the Social Security, or these doctors that are in these clinics, they just there's no incentive for them to really, really push. So let me give you an example. Like if I did not own Disability Resolution, like the law firm, there would be no incentive for me to actually push to continue to keep this company alive, because the amount of work I have to put in is insane for the amount of pay I receive. Similarly, if you go look at these clinics with these medical facilities, like they'll have employees, and the employees, they're not getting paid much. Let's say they're getting paid, $40,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000, and then their student loans are, let's just say they're a lot better than mine. Let's say they're only $1,200, $1,300 a month. There's just no incentive for them to do the extra mile. So the first thing they do is they go to the supervisor and the managers. The managers will be like, yeah, we don't want you wasting time on filling out those forms, because we want you seeing more patients and getting more copays and getting more this and that. Because remember, what makes the money is more clients in a short period of time. So Shadow, what are you doing? He's eating a bass trap somehow. I don't know how he found that. So Shadow.
I mean, I guess my next question would be like, is this acceptable behavior then?
Well, it's a failed country. I mean, remember, the culture of the medical field and the culture of the legal field are dictated by the excitement of those participants to have more money. Like you can't, if you're like, well, the lawyers and the doctors should just be super excited to do all this extra stuff for me. That's not how it works. The way it works is basically, the doctors and the lawyers have to have financial incentive to have more. And this is a really sad thing. I'm just going to say it. And you guys will say like, no, that's not how it works. And then at some point you'll realize that's how it works. But greed is the thing that empowers people with high intelligence far more than like this, I want to do good by people thing, or I want to be, I want to help people thing or whatever. And so what you have to really keep in mind is that when I was in law school, all the really cool, nice people, they usually got kicked out within the first or second semester of being in law school. They could not score high enough. It was the people who were either ashamed of losing or had this extreme degree of wanting to have more and be better and achieve more and, have the nicer cars and the nicer suits and the nicer mansions and all that shit. Those were the people that succeeded because they had what was required to basically read an entire book and memorize it. Spend all your nights working and reading, memorizing, and doing analysis. The people that like just wanted to be happy and help people, they're the first people to get kicked out of the programs. They might have the mental capabilities, which is a very small percentage of the population in America. They might have the mental capabilities, but at the end of the day, they don't have that push and drive. And the thing that drives people to become doctors, the thing that drives people to become attorneys is the pay. And, I've seen a lot of people get into these industries with the mental drive and this and that, and then they get into it and the money's not there and they go become a realtor. And that, frankly, is just, and then they dominate because their intelligence is so far beyond what you see in all of the other industries when it comes to, people who are, capable of being a realtor, because the realtors, there's two groupings here. People become lawyers when they don't know what to do, but they're very, very, very bright. People become realtors when they don't know what to do, but they're like medium intelligence. And so sometimes realtors can make a lot more money than attorneys or even doctors potentially. And so, you'll see these doctors and lawyers becoming realtors, doing TV shows with like selling real estate, renting real estate, refurbishing real estate, and they make way more money than they would have in their profession. It's the money thing. If you want the industry to act more excited and do more custom work and act like they, should be doing all this extra, staying late, working long hours, not spending time with their family, all that jazz. If you want that, they're going to have to make a lot more than they currently do. And sadly, the entire industry of all professions across the board are going to be seeing a more relaxed approach to doing things because their response is, we're not getting paid to care that much. And they're not wrong because, look, you're upset because you're not getting treatment that you want. They're upset because they're not getting paid enough. So, at the end of the day, it's becoming a pay to play gig,
Well, in that sense, like it's almost like they created a non-effective state or like a care, and that would seem almost like discriminatory just because they created a defeated purpose. Like there's no win, there's no winnable situation here. Like they've made it so like unfair that there's no way I could proceed and be successful in this, and it's been delayed over time, and it's such, the odds have been just made so out of the patient's or applicant's favor.
What do you think came first? The people who didn't care with professional degrees, doctor, lawyer, accountant, or the lack of money to pay for people who would care to do a better job? What came first?
The lack of money.
The lack of money. And then who did that ultimately create a discrimination problem against?
The patient applicant.
So who created a system that allowed insurance companies to consistently give less money to the doctors? And who created a system where the attorneys can't get what they need to financially be able to have a good life? People always see the attorneys that are like, like on the billboards and they're making tons of money. And there's like one of those for every like couple of thousand of attorneys that have to then work to supply that person with that company that they own, right? So, there's very few attorneys, but people see it and they're like, attorneys are making tons of money. No, let me explain something to you, okay? I went on a date and we talked about finances, and there was a come to Jesus moment with the female where she realized that I might not be financially classified in the group that she would like to go forward with. And that is just, it is what it is. So you have to understand that the problem is that the professionals that spend all this time and energy and money to get educated can't afford their student loans and can't afford the life that they want. So they're quietly quitting, as people put it. And as a direct result of that, you get less quality service and customized options. And as a direct result of that, the system basically becomes self-defeating, where nobody gets what they really want.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, with my experience, I've been treated like a number as opposed to a person when it comes to legal services. I mean, that's what's made me kind of reach out to anybody and everybody,
Look, if you want the magic, right, what you're going to have to do is basically find the PI, personal injury psychologist or psychiatrist that goes ahead and, for money, obviously, goes into court or writes up specifically, testimony for interrogatories. That's the person you go visit to essentially get the RFC that you're looking for.
Awesome. Thank you very much, counselor. I'll stop wasting your time, and thank you for answering all my questions.
Absolutely, good sir. You have a wonderful, wonderful night. I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
So that was a lot of good information there, I think. And he hit on a really, really strong topic, which is essentially, why is the industry not taking care of its population the way it should, it could, et cetera. The best medical treatment in the world obviously goes to the crown wearer, which is Israel, although they're going through a tough time right now. We're going to take the next call. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot, Disability Resolution PA. We're going to go ahead and do a 5 to 7 minute call. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. Would you like me to answer a legal question, or would you like me to run hearing questions with you? Go ahead.
Hi, Walter. My name's, let's say Walter as well. I recently got approved for disability.
Yay.
It's been quite the process, but it's kind of been, the judge had found an onset date previous to my second application. So I was kind of confused about that, but that's not my question. Kind of to relate to the last caller that you just had, it's not fair. It's not going to be fair. I got my first letter from SSI, even though I was approved for SSDI, and it's threatening pretty much, like, you don't do this, you're going to be kicked off. Well, these are like 3 different points of the letter. I called in. I guess my legal question is kind of similar to the last guy's. It's like, how do you hold when you're on Social Security disability or get approved? How are you? I called in to see if I could do the first screening for SSI. Thought it was a financial one. I talked to my lawyer. He was like, yeah, it's a standard. Well, I called in and I asked if I could do it over the phone as opposed to go in. I talked to a guy for 15 minutes. He said, yeah, you got it approved. And then came back and said, he said, yeah, this call next week when your appointment time is. And I called 20 minutes early. I was on hold for an hour. I completely missed the appointment. And when I finally got somebody on the phone, she said, "Hey, yeah, I could see where you called, but they didn't approve it. They didn't get it approved. The guy didn't know you were trying to do it by phone. You can't do it by phone because they wanted you to come in with your payee to set up the payee," which I wasn't even kind of upset about also, but there's no accountability there. It's like, yep, the guy that I talked to the week before that was like, "Yeah, no, just call in on the time that you have your appointment set." And he said that he would do that over the phone with you. Well, like when I called in, it doesn't make any sense. They should have called me because I don't know how long the hold's going to be. But when I called in, they said that the guy never got the message. The guy I was supposed to have the appointment with to go over what I thought was my financial information never was notified. There was no notation. He didn't get it approved. So the kid that I was talking to on the phone had me on hold for like 15 minutes and just pretty much didn't do anything. He said, "Yeah, just call in. It'll be great." And I called in and they were like, "Yeah, no, you weren't supposed to call in." Like, and then there's no accountability. And so when I was talking to the lady, she was like, "Well, no, he wanted you to just come in with your payee to set up the payee. The phone disconnected, to be honest with you." And she was giving me some, horrible attitude. And I'm not even on the program yet. I wasn't expecting like cake and coffee when I came into the office or something, but like, I mean,
I love that, cake and coffee. I could just get to the SSA and be like, "Where the F is my cake?"
I made it, man. I made it to the cake and coffee.
Where's the green room?
I would have thought that like there'd have been like at least like a, "Hey, it's been some time that you've been working on this. Congratulations. We're going to be in contact. Let's form a team and work on this together and get you set up on your next step of your life or your." And it's not. It's like no, yeah. If you screw up, you haven't even got my first check yet, and they're like, "Yeah, if you don't do this or if you do that and do this, you're going to get kicked off. If you do that, you're going to get kicked off. You're going to get kicked." I'm like, dude, like you're just they're not. And I talked to my attorney, and he was like, "Yeah, that's going to be the tone every time they send you anything. That's just kind of how they are." But then when I go and I'm like, "All right, cool, let's figure this out a week early. What's going on with this appointment?" And the guy's like, "Yeah, just call in next week when your appointment time is." And he didn't do any of it. He had me on hold I was like on the call for an hour and a half. It was like 45 minutes, an hour hold, and talked to him for 15, 20 minutes. So he said, "Yeah, just call in." But when I called in, I missed my appointment. And then I'm afraid that when I called in, I finally got to talk to the lady. She took the name of the person I'd like to have, or as my payee, I guess, for now. But then when she said, "All right, hold on, I'll put this information in," the phone disconnected. So now I'm thinking like, well, the first guy didn't do what he said he was going to do. So is this lady even putting the information in? And if they're not, how am I supposed to trust them anytime that they have to call? I mean, like I told her, I said, we should be forming like a team. Like I should be trusting you and you trust me, and we're going to be like a team and get this done. And they're like,
"Oh, that's cute."
We're gonna,
I love your team idea.
We're not gonna, I mean, ideally, that's what I would.
Yeah.
I mean, it might have been a little greasy, but like no, like I kind of thought that'd be. It wouldn't have been like a threatening letter, like threatening to kick you off before you went on, like.
So let me go into those real quick. You were going into a perk, which is a pre-evaluation interview, and basically the person wasn't ready. Happens all the time. Field office personnel are totally overloaded right now. You were trying to get things rolling, get things yada yada. This is the issue. The SSA is in a state of crisis. So getting people to have that, like, "I care about you," fluffy feeling, that's not going to happen for at least another year or two before they kind of get the employees that they need to. And then people are feeling more relaxed at the SSA.
I didn't even do like what they were going to, like the
guy
said, like, "Yeah, I've got it all approved. You're good to call this." He said, you can call him and just call next week. And so I did what he said. And it's like, no, yeah, that guy has no accountability because he didn't put any notes. It's like, why was I even on the phone? Like, the problem is I'm doing this for SSI, and I got approved for SSDI. My attorney said it's had something to do with the back pay, but it seems like for an agency that's completely overwhelmed and losing employees, there's glaring inefficiencies and redundancies that are like, well, why are you making people do this for twice, or why are you having people miss their appointments when it's going to create more workload for you? Because you have to, I mean, I don't understand if there's, and I think they are, don't get me wrong, but why would they continue to do things that are like completely inefficient? Or
so here's what's happening. They don't have a choice. They don't have enough personnel to meet the expectations of completion for the tasks on their list. So they can't task, complete. They just can't get it done. The list is too big. The hierarchy is too massive. They just can't get through it all. The other thing too is that a lot of the personnel that they have are new, because a lot of people keep quitting, because why would they stick around when the benefits aren't that good and the pay is even worse? So, it's a tough situation. Remember with the SSI situation, they're, basically, you're looking at essentially just picking up some crumb months of back pay. So, the way SSDI works is that there's 5 months that don't count and the month you're found disabled. SSI, there's only the first month and the last month that don't count. So, there's 4 months at the initial period there, which you could potentially get of extra SSI benefits. So you're interviewing, for both SSI and SSDI purposes, but the main tough questions are for the SSI purposes. And then, of course, from the SSI side of things, they're constantly reviewing and editing and altering and auditing people, because, a lot of SSI people end up on an overpayment situation, which, that combined with other problems equated to 22 billion due, which is why the commission.
But SSDI,
SSDI has it too.
Like they're two different.
It's just not as bad. Yeah. Because SSDI, remember, you don't have the resource limitation. You only have the SGA limitation of the $1,470. Right. So
as far as like her saying like, hey, since you believe the guy did what he said he was going to do for you last week and you called in, unfortunately you missed your appointment and you were on hold for almost an hour. So yeah, but how can I help you now? I said, well, can you get a hold of the guy to see if like we can? And she was like, well, he said that he wanted you to come into the office with your payee because the judge had put a new note in it in the last week saying that he was requesting a payee for me, which, okay. But, it's like, she said, I can either set you for, to give you time to find a payee, or we can set you up with a company to do it. But I said, no, I could tell you somebody that I could have do it. And I put my dad in, she said, okay, hold on, let me put the information in the system. So like a 2-hour call, an hour on hold, and the phone disconnected.
Yep.
And so she didn't call back. It wasn't like, oh yeah, cool, thanks for calling back. She was like, cool, yep, click. And so now, am I to assume that she did what she said she was doing?
Nah.
The week before the guy, not at all. Like,
not even a little. Nah, it's not even. Yeah.
Like they'll get your cake and coffee, huh?
There's no cake. There's no cake. Now here's the thing. I got to get to the next person because I'm supposed to 5 to 7, but I will catch you at some point in the future calling again, and then we'll catch up. All right. Yeah.
All right, cool. Thanks.
Perfect. Thank you, good sir. Bye-bye. So a lot of people, like I said in the prior script, basically people calling in, there's phone problems going on. I'm not sure what's going on with that, but people are just like, the people of the SSA will answer and then they'll be like, hi, is anybody there? And you're like, yeah, I'm here. How's it going? They're like, I can't hear anybody. Are you there? I can't hear anybody. And then they'll hang up and then they'll log it. And they'll probably get some benefit of being like, I answered this call and nobody was there, but I still get to log it. And you know how government logs that stuff. So but anyways, we're going to go ahead and take just a few more calls. Looks like a lot of people have called in, but I don't see anything ringing on this thing right now. So let me go ahead and click the thingy real quick. Hold on. Oh, there we go. And click and speaker mode. Hi, good sir. It's Attorney Walter Hnot. Let me get this one off. Attorney Walter Hnot, remember to use a fake name throughout this process. Would you like me to answer a specific question, or would you like me to go ahead and run hearing questions with you? Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Question I had is I guess both legal and then just to find out where I would stand. And in the CDI review process, if they have a right to put a tracker device on your car, and you say you use your relative's car as well to get the doctor's appointments or within a mile from your house, do they have a right to put a tracking device on a relative's car if it's not in your name?
I mean, are they getting a warrant?
That's what I trying to find out. I have not been able to get any phone number for a local CDI unit. There's a number for the local, the local sheriff's department, but no number to find that out. And the local SSA field office doesn't have any number for that.
Okay. So, I mean, the bottom line is this. You just go by the investigation rules and, criminal procedure, what's allowable. You don't really go by SSA rules when it comes to CDI units and warrants that are going to be allowed. So bottom line is, if they have a warrant and, somebody else owns the car, but you're the one that's mostly using it, they'll put that into the warrant that this person owns the car, this is the person that we're interested in, person of interest, and this is essentially, what we're looking for from this person. Judge, will you approve this? They'll get a warrant, and they can go ahead and put a tracker on the car. I mean, the big thing is, they can track your vehicle in many ways. They can use GPS satellites, with photo, where they can read where the car is going based off of it focusing on where the car is moved and things like that as it takes photos. They also have things that they can put underneath the underside of your car. They're not like the spy movies where there's like a blinking red light, but there's these tiny little things that they can magnetize, put up into your car, and then is what it is. But remember, they don't usually do that like when it's by the house. If they're going to put something on the car, they're going to do it when you're shopping somewhere.
Okay. Because the car doesn't have any built-in GPS.
No. Not that I mean, they could pull it from that, but remember, they have satellites that can take repetitive pictures, and as the car moves, right, those repetitive pictures can have basically a program that reads with a little, square on it where your car is moving and how that little square is moving along with it. So they can read where your car goes based off of GPS from satellites. So.
Okay. That's what I need to find out. I have not lied at all. I stay at home most of the time. There's times that my relative can't get to CVS, which is a mile down the road, to get prescriptions. Mm-hmm. I can't really cook, so the food is microwave type food, and I do that, and I get fast food down the street. But the level of surveillance and the level of them using the DOJ or sheriffs is pretty high, sort of alarming, shocking for me. But the other question is on that 3373 form. Mm-hmm. Once that gets turned in, is that more or less at the end of the final decision making, or the DDS decision making? Is it once I turn that form in, which is tomorrow, will that then my claim will come to a final decision then, or how much longer do you think after that?
So basically the 3373 is not always the endpoint, because usually if there are additional supplemental forms, supplemental anxiety, supplemental pain, supplemental headache, etc., supplemental seizures, whatever, then you basically get to MECEs, or the MCPC will go ahead and say, hey, this person, we need more medical documentation for this particular impairment because they don't have anything that they've seen on their side. Then you go to the MECE, medical expert consultative examination appointment. The doctor will write a report. The report will go it'll take about 2 weeks, and they'll send it into the DDS rep. They'll assimilate into the DDE report. Then they'll send that over to their manager to have their manager take a look at it. The attorney will usually negotiate some AODs in there. But other than that, it's not really the end point. It's more of like the middle point.
Okay. How after the 3373 gets turned in, how much longer do you think, by guess, before they'll give me a decision?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know your claim. I'm not able to look into your file. I'm not able to see where the DDS rep is at with the ERE system. Like, if there's a bunch of files in there not labeled, it's going to be a while.
Okay. I had originally turned all my records in to the local field office in hand, and they did not upload them into their database. They kept them in their office, and so when I went on the website to check the SSA.gov, check the status, it wasn't there, and CDR form, it said I needed to fill out from the website said it wasn't completed, but they had it in hand at the local field office, I guess. And then they finally put it, or they finally, when I called the local field office, or when I called the SSA 1-800 number, it was outside contact. They would say, we don't see any of your records, and that you need to call the local field office. And some days it takes a very long time, 2 hours or so, to get through to the local field office. And they said that for a while they said they didn't see them. So I was just checking to make sure they got all my records. And then I faxed over some more records. I think I've got a total of 12 doctors, but I've had 2 strokes. Also have a bad back, a fused disc, a bulging disc in my back, and some nerve root damage.
Keep in mind, I've got to, you know what I mean? I've got to go ahead and get to kind of other people throughout this process. So point is, sounds awesome, but you know, just keep in mind, like, I'm trying to keep it to 5 to 7 minutes. We're at 7 minutes. So just catch up with me at the next live and we'll keep going through stuff.
Yes, sir. And to find out who the CDI unit would be in my area to see if there is a warrant because of the real heavy surveillance and whatnot. Do you know how I would find that out?
Yeah, but we don't have enough time to go through it, though. That's the kicker. Like, yeah, that's a whole process. And remember, the SSA borrows, like, you know, police and sheriffs and investigators and you know FBI. They borrow those agents to participate in these programs. So it's a little bit more complex than just being like, hey, it's that guy in that building, you know. But anyways, I will catch you at the next live, good sir. You have a wonderful, wonderful night.
You too, Walter. I'll try to buy some time with you next week.
Perfect, good sir. Excellent. I'll catch you a little bit later. Have a wonderful night.
You too. Thank you much, Walter.
Thank you, good sir. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, so I'm going to wait for the next call to kind of come in. I usually get about 5 seconds to, never mind. All right, here we go. Oh, wait, it didn't work. I clicked the button and it didn't. Hold on, let me see if I can FaceTime this thing. Here we go. Okay, perfect. And speaker mode. Oh no, what's going on? What's going on here? This the person calling in, but it's not allowing me to click it. Hold on, let me see if I can do this real quick. Hold on. Let me see if I can fix this real quick. All right, let's see if we can do this. Hold on. All right, here we go. Hopefully it won't go straight to their name. That's what I'm always worried about. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. Would you like me to answer a specific question or would you like me to run hearing questions with you? Go ahead.
Hi, Walter. Let's go with specific questions, please.
Perfect, sir. How can I help you?
Yes. I asked this in the chat once before, but you can call me Juan, I guess. Okay. Is it really worth it with all the headaches and all the drama that is in the system right now applying? Do you feel that someone has a way to maintain themselves for, until Social Security to 62? Is it worth the fight, especially if they're in their late 50s? Is it worth spending the thousands of dollars for doctors and the attorney fees, which you very much deserve? But is it worth the fight?
Yeah, I mean, remember, if you look, okay, so when people ask me, is it worth it? My brain immediately goes to what the ALJs, I would imagine, usually think, which is that if they're able to make that question in their head, then they're really not at the severity level that normally should be approved, because that person's like, is it worth it? Remember, they're trying to approve the people who they don't really have a choice. Like they can't work, so there's that aspect. Now, some people have lots of money in the bank. And in that case, I still say, absolutely, go get your SSDI benefits. Having, if you can't work, get the money, get the Medicare, get it rolling, and that's the truth that a lot of people don't really focus on, which is that the Medicare is actually, in all reality, like the real worth of this whole thing. Sure, the monthly benefit is there, cool, yeah. But the Medicare, I mean, you can charge the shit out of that card all you want. You could charge, $50,000 off of that thing in a single month. So the point is, that's where the real benefit is. That's where the real incredible part of this whole program is. But yeah, it's a pain. And here, look, it's going to get worse. They're going through an audit situation right now. They're using, AI technology. They're using more, basically automation stuff. So they're going through this phase where people are like, wow, the service really sucks. It sucks because they can't afford more people. The artificial intelligence software to go ahead and figure out if your claim is severe or not severe isn't where it needs to be yet. So the problem is that a lot of people are like, what the hell? The other thing too is that you're getting a lot of people who are like, my cousin's disabled and all he had to do is pick his nose to get benefits. I don't understand. I'm in a wheelchair. What the hell? And so the reality is we're going through the cultural change of where being disabled back in the day used to mean not that disabled. And nowadays it means really, truly severely impaired. So we're going through this cultural transitional aspect, which makes people obviously go, well, is it worth it if they're going to put me through hell? And of course, my response to that is, yeah, if you're not able to work, go do it.
Exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm. After 35 years of working in a very technical, heavy duty industry, just wasn't able to work anymore physically. So now, quick question about medical coverage. I'm under my wife's medical coverage. How does that work with getting medical coverage with Social Security?
You're just going to keep whichever one is better. You're still going to have to you have to take Medicare when it becomes available. Otherwise, you're going to get penalized. So you pay the Medicare cost, you keep the other insurance, and you just use whichever one you want to for whichever doctor you're going to have.
Okay, gotcha, Walter. Hey, appreciate all your work, Walter. Yeah. Well, one personal thing.
Sure.
Stop dating in the West. Go overseas. Get you.
Yeah.
At 44, my wife's a registered nurse, and I met her at 22. We've been married for 13 years. The best thing I did was go overseas because of the factor of meeting women in LA. We just wasn't making enough money for them. So I know how that is. So get your green card. Get your passport. Go overseas. That's an old man recommendation for you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny. I went on this one date, and what I realized from the date was that women have, and I'm sure it goes the same way the other way too, but they have this idea as to like numbers that are kind of unrealistic at this point. Women are like, I think a guy should be able to pull in, $175,000 by the time they're this age, or maybe $200,000 by the time they're this age. And, my question, the first thing my brain says is like, okay, first of all, is that before taxes or after taxes? Is that something, like my brain's like, where is her brain at? Is that just like, is that what's left over after the taxes? Cause man, I ain't even close to that then. So, like I go through that analysis, and then in my brain, I'm like, well, shit, the law firm has taxes, it has utilities, it has, employees, it has all the, the office costs and stuff like that. And then, there's all this extra increases in costs as a result of, the inflation we're going through. So, in my brain's just like, when somebody says like, hey, you should be making at least blah, blah, blah. Or the other question she talked about, like, she was like, well, what are you doing with your 401k? And I was like, I don't have one. I have what's called student loans. And then I think the date at that point kind of went downhill. So I was just like, whatever. And that's fair, yeah.
But that's what the new Redfield community is teaching a lot of the younger guys, which I didn't know 20 years ago. It's like, hey, be careful with the women that's looking for guys making six figures, being 6 feet, and everything else that's attached to that. So, but hey, relax. Get some Fruity Pebbles with marshmallows, and God bless you. Appreciate all your work.
Sounds good, good sir. I'll catch you later. Have a wonderful night.
You too, man.
That's awesome. I love that cereal, by the way. It's a terrible cereal for you. Lots of sugar. It's Fruity Pebbles, which is not healthy, plus marshmallows, which is even more not healthy, but it's so good. It's so good. Okay, so we're going to do one more phone call. And then basically for the night, I have to wake up early tomorrow to go to the county dump and dump my dump trailer stuff off there because of stuff that we had from basically the house next door. Dandelions, very cool. $2 donation. Let's see what she said. Poofed, or let's see what it says. Women, here comes the arguments in chat. Oh God. Yeah, that's true. No negativeness. I went on a poor choice date. It was a date from an app. It's a poor choice. I didn't, is what it is. But anyways, let me see if I, I truly do have the student loan PTSD for sure. Now let me see if I have any more calls. If we don't have any more calls coming in, which would be quasi blessing, I can go to bed a little bit earlier. All right, so we're going to count it down, guys. You ready? All right, so here we go. We got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you so much for being a part of this amazing, fun show where we got to talk about the current situation of Social Security benefits across the board, including retirement, disability, going into 2024, all that jazz. Please remember to hit the like button. The like button is so important. You just use the finger and then you hit the like button. It's really easy. And then also just slap the subscribe button and then just wiggle the all button. If you guys want to do something that I love to wake up to, it's totally up to you. You don't have to. You Google Disability Resolution Florida or Disability Resolution Law Firm, and you leave a review. I love seeing the 5 stars when I wake up, but you can leave whatever. Also, if you're looking for a disability attorney, please remember to, call whoever you want. You can call me or you can call somebody else. It's fine. But I will catch you a little bit later. Please have a wonderful, wonderful night. Please take care of yourself. Please say howdy and thank you to the moderator. She's doing an amazing job. Basically, I will catch you guys a little bit later and we will go from there. Thanks so much and have fun, guys. All right. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.